third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Oh boy.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 10.
Welcome into Mississippi Live Weather at 10. I'm meteorologist Gabe Maynor, and finally some cooler conditions after another hot day across North Mississippi. This is great news going forward. Hopefully the case forever, right? We want those cooler conditions to be in place. Well, looking at our headlines here at the Room to Room Weather Center, temperatures are getting better over the next couple of days. And yes, we're talking about 48 to 72 hours days, so not just a one-day type deal. What we're also tracking is some brief relief for the next few days. Brief relief meaning some showers and some thunderstorms popping up yet again in that extended forecast. And of course, we are looking at It's Hot Round 2. You guys showed out last night, and I cannot wait to talk about some different ways to say it's hot yet again. Just some interaction with you guys. I love talking with you guys about, your take on the weather, and you can only say it's hot so many times before it just gets a little bit old, right? Well, 81 degrees in Aberdeen, so while it is cooler, it's still above average for where it should be this time of night. Feels like 90. I mean, that humidity just absolutely overbearing. That thick air that we are experiencing here in North Mississippi, not going anywhere even when that sun sets. Even there towards Batesville, 82 feels like 93 with a high humidity yet again. So that humidity, we're not going to escape it. It's just going to get better with that sunset happening and that daytime heating not happening around the area. So Mississippi Live Weather Radar, what we're tracking is those showers continuing to pop up in and around Pickens County. Looking at the last loop or so, not overbearing, it's just going to be that boundary that they develop across. And let's go ahead and take it back. I would say the last 6 hours or so. So we can kind of loop it back to that shower that formed. We were tracking that out a moment ago, moved into southeast Noxubee County, never reached Macon, and then more of that activity, more of those bands of moisture that are developing with that low pressure in the Gulf, that's circulating in a little bit of those showers and storms. They're just south of Pickens County, south of Tuscaloosa County, not going to impact us here in North Mississippi. As you can see, I'll jump to now. We're dry across the region. That is a great sign of what's to come. Expanding things out, you can see where a lot of that moisture lies. In the Gulf, of course, fitting, right? So folks that went back to the beach this week because last week was so rainy, well, unfortunately, you're dealing with another active pattern. The good thing is I don't foresee this developing into anything significant. It's just going to be a good chance of showers and thunderstorms to develop, and hopefully for a lot of locations that need it. So that moisture already starting to move in here in North Mississippi in the form of some cloud cover, satellite imagery showing you exactly that. So this is a good way to kind of tell, I don't know why I'm turning it, we can just zoom out, where that heat dome is. So where it's drier, where it's hotter, of course, out there towards the west. So it's going to encompass portions of the Delta all the way out towards North Texas. That's where that high pressure has since filtered off to, but then it's going to start moving north and east. Then that low dominates our weather, and that's why we're getting cooler. That's why we're getting a little bit more rain. So that's great news going forward. Hopefully, I wish it could be forever. Unfortunately, Mississippi, it's always changing. So that a little bit of moisture that's down around Pickens County still lingering overnight. I would honestly lower that to about 10% for our 11 o'clock hour. But into the overnight, we're going to stay dry. We're going to stay calm. And that sunshine should return early start of the day, warming us up nicely. Upper 70s to start, low 80s by 8, and we're talking 90 degrees by 11 a.m. So we warm up very quickly. I'm just not ready for, it's been hot enough. We're ready for a little bit of a break. And I know Matt's coming back tomorrow, so Matt's going to be coming back to this heat after wearing sweatshirts in Canada. So Matt, I know that you're tuning in right now, so buckle up. It's quite a muggy forecast moving forward. There's your low pressure center, and there's your interaction of the low and high pressure. Just expanding this out yet again, I just want to look at the all-encompassing what's going on, and what we have is this interaction of winds. So let's go ahead and just walk through what we're seeing. So we have this counterclockwise motion around the low, and we have this clockwise motion around the high. So where that clockwise motion is moving in place is Arkansas, Oklahoma, Texas. That's getting that clearer air. So that's why there's those clear skies happening. But where we see this counterclockwise motion, look at what is all right here, the Gulf. And the Gulf has more than enough moisture to sustain us here in North Mississippi. So as some of that moisture moves north, again, this is going to be the primary area. We're going to use purple today because we've not used purple, I don't think, ever. So this is the area that we're watching for, the primary area to get showers, but some isolated, and I'll just write ISO on there, expected around North Alabama and North Mississippi. So that's us right here, and we're not expecting widespread coverage, but just enough to say, oh, that was some rain-cooled air. Thank you. So that's what we're watching into the next 24 hours, is that little chance of some isolated showers and storms forming here in North Mississippi from that low pressure in the Gulf. Watch how it just basically encompasses that high pressure overnight, not going to leave it lasting too much longer. And as we head into tomorrow morning, that high pressure going to dissolve on out and low pressure dominating our forecast moving forward. You can see those winds moving southeasterly, so that's going to be reaching our area just a bit. But that stationary front also helping with some of that lift, allowing those showers and storms to occur. Not going to be happening early hours. It really needs to be during that peak daytime heating. So by the time we get towards our mid to late afternoon, that's when we expect those showers to start wrapping around just a bit into North Mississippi. So mid to late afternoon, that's what we're watching for time frame wise. And those percentages not overly high. Again, very isolated chances. Hence why we have the 20% for your 3 and your 20% around 6. Basically mid to late afternoon. All that time frame, 3 to about 7, is what we're watching for those isolated showers to take place. So drier starts to the day, but again, have that umbrella in the back seat, especially as you're driving home from work, because you don't want to be caught in those isolated showers. While they are isolated, they are pretty heavy in some of their downpours. So what we're going to be walking through is, since it's going to be another hot forecast, a hot, dry overall forecast, we're going to be walking through ways to stay safe in the heat. And of course, walking you through just how hot we're going to be experiencing the next couple of days. We know it'll be slightly cooler, but just how cool and how long until that heat returns. All of that coming up in the next 60. And of course, we'll hear about what's the matter, and we'll also hear it's hot. All of that right after the break.
You need some help?
Your tow chains are a little loose. Could spark a wildfire. I could show you how to secure them properly if you'd like.
Sure. Thanks a lot.
Anytime. You should check out SmokeyBear.com. They've got a bunch of tips on wildfire prevention.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Even the mighty might not see it coming. It's prediabetes, and it captures 1 in 3 adults. But you can escape. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test to know where you stand and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. Be your own hero on smartphones everywhere at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Hey there, Chief Meteorologist Matt Lawpond here with kind of an impromptu one of these videos that we've been talking about as we are on the ferry back over from Victoria, which is that direction but invisible, toward the mainland USA, which is that direction and also invisible. We've encountered something that we never run into in North Mississippi, and so maybe it's worth talking about, something we call a marine layer. And so as you can see the fogginess that's out there beyond the ferry that we're driving, it happens because of the cold ocean water and warmer air aloft, relatively warmer air aloft, so to speak. And so the moisture in that forms what we call an inversion in this case, or at least forms the fog that is enhanced by an inversion, a difference in temperature where it's actually cooler at the surface to warmer aloft. So that tends to trap the moisture down here a little bit closer to the ground. And so you end up with this kind of foggy layer. But if I were to look up toward the sun, from time to time here, you're able to see some blue skies there, probably a pretty decent little halo also showing up with that as well. So kind of one of those cool things that we do not experience very often here in North Mississippi, and I guess cool being a literal thing because it's kind of cool out here on the water, and considering all those heat advisories, excessive heat warnings that we have had, certainly a different change of pace here. So as we head back toward the mainland USA in a marine layer, I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lawpond from Mississippi Live Weather.
Right now, from the Mississippi Live Weather Center, here's meteorologist Gabe Maynor.
Yeah, officially on the same soil as us, Matt. So welcome back to the United States. We've missed you. We can't wait to have you back here in Mississippi. But safe travels and enjoy those last few days of vacation. Soak them in because we know that once you come back, it's going to be a busy, active, hot weather pattern, right? So whenever we're looking at Weather Watcher pictures, you know, Matt, not the only Weather Watcher out in the field providing some content, also Diane in Starkville giving us a great shot of that sunset. Purples, the blues, the oranges, everything showing up there towards Starkville. A great shot, so thank you to Diane for submitting that. Even over in Nanawaya, I mean, check out the oranges there on the sunset. The horizon just absolutely popping off there in Nanawaya. So no matter where you're at here in North Mississippi, our Weather Watchers showed out. So thank you for submitting those pictures. If you have any pictures that you want to submit and you want to be a part of our Weather Watcher team, go to the Mississippi Live Weather app and submit those pictures today. It's easy. You go to the side and it says submit your pictures. Upload your picture, and then you put your name, location, and time and date. Time and date is something we need. But yeah, we love it, we appreciate it, and it gives us those eyes in the skies. And whenever it's a site like that, oh yeah, we love seeing that. So Mississippi Live Weather Radar showing you clear conditions. Whenever we get this right here, no, it's not rainfall is happening all across Monroe County. No, it's what we call clear air mode. So that radar beam lowers to the ground rather than shooting way high up in the sky to get those clouds. So whenever it goes lower, it starts to pick up on trees and buildings and structures. So that's what all those greens are that show up. That's a great sign for our forecast if we're getting that there on our Monroe County radar. Back towards behind my knee, that's the location we're going to use. Back there just south of Tuscaloosa, that's where we're getting some isolated activity. Some of those bands wrapping around into southern Alabama and central Alabama, not expected to impact our forecast, but a few of those could move in and just provide a little brief downpour before fizzling on out. So rainfall totals over the last 12 hours, you can see where the showers were. If you were along and east of Highway 45, then you got rainfall. If you were anywhere else in North Mississippi, 55 west, definitely stayed dry and definitely stayed hot through the day. That's really been the main story for us. And as we head into the night, with that moisture returning, you can see that southerly wind bringing in that Gulf moisture with some cloud cover. It's going to help our temperatures from cooling off too much overnight. I say help, it's honestly going to hurt our temperatures from cooling off so much overnight. So still going to be above average for the start of our day tomorrow, but already, I mean, you can see the above average trend. We're talking low to mid 80s, Corinth and Iuka. Shout out you guys, upper 70s right now. 82 towards Tupelo, Vernon, 85 Columbus, even out west, we're talking 85 Belzona. Greenville, very rarely are you not the highest temperature on our graphic, so I'm going to give you a shout out tonight. 83, that is not too shabby for you guys. But really that's been the main story, is just the heat, and the heat will continue to be the story heading into our Thursday. You can see, I mean, even early morning hours, we're talking 10, 11 a.m. Watch how these temperatures shoot up from upper 70s all the way to the mid 90s by 11 a.m. That's still the morning. And we're talking mid-90s. So by the time we get towards the afternoon, it's going to be another hot, miserable day. Make sure to stay hydrated and stay cool and take frequent breaks, please. There's no reason why we need to be out in this heat all day long because it just gets to be very dangerous. Remember, heat is the number one killer when it comes to dangerous weather that happens in the United States. So that's why we say take the precautions. While we might overlook it frequently, we don't need to because we don't want those lives to be lost. We don't want those injuries to take place. We want everyone to stay safe and stay hydrated. So for your day planner tomorrow, we're talking noon and beyond going to be low to upper 90s. So that's where we need to make sure to go ahead and have those plans to be indoors. Coaches, band directors, anyone that's out and about, just make sure to have those kids indoors during the afternoon because it's not even the real feel outside. We're talking about real feel in 105 to 110 territory. So that's definitely too high. I was in band once and honestly in sports as well. And we did all of our workouts in the morning time because it was just so hot towards the afternoon. Luckily for a few of us, isolated showers going to help with those temperatures, but it's only going to be for a brief moment. Those showers happening like that, and by the time they get done, just making it feel even more steamy in the atmosphere. Just adding some water to the situation, and so making it have a little bit more steam. We know how it goes. We've cooked stuff before. We've had hot water. We've boiled water. We know that it turns into a vapor and adds it into the atmosphere. So, sorry, starting to get too much sciencey. But overnight, really what we're going to be tracking is that cloud cover building in from the south, and that's going to be the primary factor for our Thursday morning. Reason why is because it keeps temperatures pretty above average. And so that's going to keep it from dropping too much more from where we're sitting at right now. Upper 70s across the region with a few areas coming in with the mid 70s. That's going to be where those breaks in the clouds happen. So that way they can have that cooling that happens overnight. But where it's cloudy, still staying well above average. So as we head through the rest of our morning, you can see that cloud cover breaks up just a bit. And we'll be seeing plenty of sunshine by late morning. This warms up our atmosphere and sets the scene for another hot day, as I mentioned, but also sets the scene for more of that possibility of some isolated showers. You can see those winds coming just a bit easterly, southeasterly through our area, and that's just that wraparound from that low pressure system. So isolated showers associated with that low, that's going to be our driver in our forecast for our Thursday, even by Thursday mid to late afternoon. A few of those, could contain a rumble of thunder or two over there towards Chula, but even just south of Noxubee County, really that threshold is going to be South Mississippi, but some of those just making their way a little bit farther north, catching the right boundary, and that's where we'll see some more activity for our afternoon on our Thursday. So while there will be some momentary relief, don't bank on those showers happening. They're going to be very, very isolated. High temperatures, mid to upper 90s, like I mentioned, so that heat's still going to be a factor. And so will heat indices. We're talking 110 plus out in the Mississippi Delta, 105 plus here in northeast Mississippi. So some areas better than others, but still when you have those oranges and purples, that's just another emphasis to take this really seriously and make sure to take care of yourself as you're heading out the door and not get overheated, because it can happen very quickly. So into the overnight hours, those showers do start to dissipate just a bit because of that lack of daytime heating. And overnight, we'll see that cloud cover build again. So low temperatures still going to be above average for the start of our Friday. But as we head through the day, much more chances of some scattered showers. We're upping this by about 10 to 20% from where we'll be at for Thursday, probably sitting at about 30 to possibly 40 if this continues to trend how it is. Because if you look, this is much more scattered in nature, so still not going to be a unified development, but what it will be doing is covering more of our area over a longer period of time. So this is happening early afternoon rather than mid, and those will continue through mid to late afternoon and even early evening before dissolving on out. So it's more of a heightened chance for rainfall. This is really the day that I would bank on seeing the most rainfall here in North Mississippi. Does that mean that everyone will get a shower? No, unfortunately, but at least more areas should see that rain-cooled air. And you'll see it right here too. High temperatures where it's dry, still going to be upper 80s for some of us. Haven't seen that in a while, Boonville and Iuka. But for the rest of us, low to mid 90s. Heat indices still going to be affected, but not nearly as high, coming in with double digits that we have not seen in about 6 days. So to give you a perspective of how hot it's been that long since it's been this cool, and this is not even cool. And as we head through the Mississippi Delta, still talking 105 plus, while we're drawing back those extreme heat warnings across North Mississippi, I really expect those advisories to be lifted for a Friday afternoon, and then going to primarily be out there towards the Mississippi Delta. So heat, still a big factor, and this is where we currently sit with current alerts in our heat advisory and heat warnings. Extreme heat warnings out there in the Mississippi Delta, that's until Thursday at 8 p.m. Excessive heat advisory for the northeast part of the state, us here in Lee County, Monroe, Clay, Oktibbeha, basically encompassing the northeast side. That means 105 plus. Heat warning is 110 plus. And reason why, we can see it right here. Wet bulb globe temperatures, which I want to say, we have access to this on our website, msliveweather.com. Go there and you go to forecast, and then you scroll down to where it's maps, and you click that, and then you click temperature, and it'll take you to these maps. Walks through the next several days, including for your Thursday, Friday, and I believe into early next week as well. And it'll show you extreme and high, encompassing a large part of North Mississippi. So what that means is our time outside, especially by 2:30 in the afternoon, needs to be very limited because it's just going to be more susceptible to those heat risks. Wet bulb globe temperatures uses temperatures, it uses the humidity values, and it also uses sun exposure. I know that when I was in band, there were some kids that, while it wasn't the hottest outside, that UV radiation that just got on their skin, it made their skin turn purple because they got sunburned so bad. And so there's just, even on the cooler days, that UV radiation can do damage as well. So all three of those components, stuff that they watch for the wet bulb globe temperature, I'm just realizing I did not put pause points in there. So we're going to have to go back over this coming tomorrow night. But basically, for the next couple of afternoons, those high to extreme values going to encompass our Thursday, Friday, and even towards Saturday and Sunday in some parts. So if you want all that information, it's on our website, msliveweather.com, and I'll make sure to include this tomorrow evening as well at 5 o'clock to walk through the very latest. I do apologize for that. But there are ways to beat the heat, like I mentioned. And the biggest one is stay indoors in the air conditioning whenever possible. If there's a moment that we can take practice inside, then go ahead and do so. And also, whenever we are out doing activities, do it in the early hours to go ahead and knock that out of the way before the daytime heating sets in. I talked about mowing the lawn last week. I should have mowed the lawn at 6 a.m. I woke up a little later, and it was that much of a difference. So 6 a.m., get a good start on the day, and then you'll be done right before it gets hot. So if your home doesn't have AC, there are cooling centers nearby. There's several here in Tupelo. There's several around North Mississippi. Drinking water Emphasis on that. I have my water bottle sitting right there. I told you drink 3 or 4 bottles a pop. My wife did tell me that it depends on the person. So don't just go drinking 3 bottles. Figure out how much water you need and then drink that amount. There we go. We've said it now. But for me personally, I need about 3. And also check on those that are most vulnerable to the heat. Children and the elderly. Check the back seats before we leave the car. Leave something back there that's important. Your phone, your wallet, or well, you can't leave your keys, but phone or wallet in the back seat. And go ahead and before you leave the car, you'll remember to grab that. Go ahead and grab that, and then, of course, your child will be right beside them, and you'll remember everything you need to remember. So just little things that we can do to stay as safe as possible, make sure that everyone's checked on as well. One thing that this graphic doesn't show that I want to talk about, and I apologize for taking a little bit longer on this, I just want to make sure that everyone's informed on this heat, is animals. Don't just leave them outside all day. If it's 2, 3 p.m. and they don't have water in their bowl, they're not in a shaded area, they're very susceptible to that heat, and it can do damage on them as well. So bring them inside or put them in a shaded area and give them plenty of water even if they're in a shaded area. And on top of that, you know, the stuff that they're walking on, don't walk them directly on black asphalt, because it's, as we mentioned, an absorbent to that heat, and it's going to be even hotter on the asphalt than compared to walking on grass. So try and put them on the yard, make them walk on the grass. If it means tugging the leash a little bit to bring them back, you know, go ahead and do that, and they'll be glad you did. They might not understand it, but they know your heart behind it. And also, if you must go outdoors, we mentioned go early in the day and dress in light colored clothing. While we were talking about asphalt, if it's a black asphalt, it absorbs more of that heat. Same thing goes for clothing. And so white shirts, I have a white shirt under this, and that's a good color, yellow. But if you're wearing reds, blacks, and grays, browns, things like that, it's just going to absorb more of that heat just because it's darker. But that 7-day forecast shows that at least temperatures are getting better. So low 90s for your Friday, and they remain low 90s by Saturday before climbing back into next week. So your highest rainfall totals are going to be over the next 4 days, and it's not overly high. Still very isolated in nature, but appreciate it while you have them, because the atmosphere is just setting up for a much cooler pattern before drier air moves in. I don't want to talk about that number. Upper 90s for your Monday with plenty of sunshine, and we're talking triple digits for a lot of locations come Tuesday and Wednesday. Just not going to be the ideal forecast. And if you thought this week was hot, next week's even worse. It's July, and July is winning the battle, to say the least. So let's go ahead and stay hydrated, stay prepared, and stay cool especially. But you might have heard it a lot during this episode, During this edition of Mississippi Live Weather, you might have heard me say it's hot way too many times. So folks around North Mississippi, you took the words for me. So how are we saying it's hot across North Mississippi? Well, first one, I believe I can make pasta in my swimming pool because it's boiling. Perfect example. We were talking about water vapor earlier from boiling it on the stove. Hey, why are we boiling it in the stove? Let's boil it in the pool. That's perfect, right? No, it is not that hot, but it does feel pretty hot like that. So great quote right there. It's so hot outside, even the mosquitoes are going north. Honestly, I'm not mad about that. Send the mosquitoes north, because that is a whole other element that's added when it's hot and muggy outside. But honestly, my house still has mosquitoes. It's still brutal. So unfortunately, the heat is paired with those mosquitoes. My sweat has its own kind of sweat. Now that is creative, and that's a lot of sweat. So hopefully that's not, sweat does cool you off. So that sounds like you're saying pretty cool. There you go. So having 2 kinds of sweat, that's perfect. And my favorite one, the big announcement. No, this is not true, but it was a great way to put it. All counties are participating in a direct pavement hamburger grilling contest. And this just gave me an idea. I believe that we're going to work something in for the Mainer Explainer that kind of fits to this idea. But if you at home want to try and put some foil out or anything out in the sunshine tomorrow about 2, 3 o'clock and try to cook something, an egg, I don't think you could cook a burger. You know what? Try it and see what happens. And send those results into Mississippi Live Weather. I would love to do an entire segment tomorrow talking about what's cooking and it not be us. And finally talk about some of the food that you guys are trying to cook in all of the sunlight. Hey, take advantage of the heat while it's here. If you want to throw noodles in the pool, show me the result of that. It'll just be a great fun time, and a way we can have fun in all of this miserable heat. So I thank you guys for joining us tonight on Mississippi Live Weather at 10. I hope you have a fantastic and cool night ahead. And of course, have the Mississippi Live Weather app handy. Head to the msliveweather.com to see those wet bulb globe temperatures, and we'll walk through that tomorrow night as well at 5, and I'll put it at 6 too, just to make extra emphasis on it, and walk through what that will be for the next several days. By next week, extreme values probably going to encompass the entire state. So just a little something to expect, but enjoy the cooler air while it's here, and we'll see you back here tomorrow at 5, 6, and 10. Can't wait to see you guys then. And as I mentioned, the app, there's free ways to do so. iOS and Android, scan that QR code on your screen, takes you to the nearest app store to download that today. Gives you the latest information on that forecast, hourly, 7-day, anything you want to know, even live radar of what's happening, so you can track those storms down around Tuscaloosa County. But I do want to say it's not on the screen, but Roku, we are on that today. Search Mississippi Live. Don't include the weather, and it'll pull up on your screen. Download that on Roku today. Again, just different ways to stream us. It'll definitely keep you safe. I know it's hot right now, and it's a pretty consistent forecast, but in the future, we know Mississippi weather is always changing, and that's the best way to stay informed, is having as many ways to access it as possible. So we thank you for joining us tonight. We will see you back here tomorrow at 5 p.m.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back. Dad! You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
March 24th, 2023 was a normal Friday. You know, we knew the weather was not good, but we needed to take shelter, and we didn't have shelter. My husband and almost 2-year-old daughter, Ethan and Riley, they did lose their lives in the storm. We're still recovering from it. We'll always be recovering from it. Matt Lawpon cares about the community. He's not just there to collect a paycheck. I feel like Matt Lawpon has proven himself trustworthy.